Good evening. I would like to take a motion to open this meeting. May I have a first? Alex. A second? Bruce. All in favor? I would like to take another motion to move to executive session for purposes of personnel and contract. May I have a first? Lisa. A second? Bruce. Any questions? All in favor? Good evening. The board has returned from executive session and there were no actions taken. Can I have a motion to open the meeting? A first? Lisa. A second? Alex. All in favor? Let us all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One of our traditions at this time of year is the student holiday performance. At the December board meeting, I would like to introduce Mr. Jim Guarini at this time.
Good evening, Cold Spring Harbor, and thank you for coming out to support tonight of our wonderful music program. We would like to greet you all and spread some lovely festive holiday cheer with three of our student groups. Starting out first, under the direction of Mr. Hockler, we have the brass ensemble. Then we have our chamber singers under the direction of Mr. Daniel Santangelo, and our chamber strings under the direction of Amanda Sagali. So we hope you enjoy it, and let's hear it for our students.
Hi everyone, my name is Andrew Hockler. I'm a band teacher at High School. I'm very fortunate to work with such wonderful, talented musicians, and I just wanted to say a huge thank you to not only Central Lab and the Board of Education. They really did do the stuff and support us, so thank you very much.
really beautiful. Good job, guys. Really enjoyed that one. Nice in the spirit here tonight. Next, we are going to hear from our students at the high school. Each meeting, we hear from students from different buildings about all the wonderful events going on at their locations, and the high schools here. So we're pleased to welcome them to speak.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kayla Theodore, Cold Spring Harbor Student Body Vice President.
I'm Alexa Torrey, and I'm the Executive Treasurer. I'm Haley Torrey, and I'm the Executive Secretary.
We would like to thank the Board of Education for the opportunity to share updates from the junior-senior high school. We would also like to thank our advisors, Ms. G and Ms. Pickering, for all they do to help and support us. We're the Executive Board, and we're the group that represent the entire school. We focus on school-wide events and decisions that affect everyone, like homecoming, pep rally, school spirit weeks, big fundraisers, and overall student concerns. We include positions like student body president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. We're like a leadership team that works on the big picture and makes sure the whole school runs smoothly from a student perspective. On the other hand, our class officers are leaders for each specific grade. So every grade, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, have its own set of class officers. Their job is to focus on things that only matter to their class. For example, juniors might work on organizing prom, seniors plan senior activities like senior banquet and prom-related events or graduation-related events. Sophomores run fundraisers for future events and so on. They mainly focus on keeping their class organized and supporting grade-level traditions.
Now are some updates to the high school 2025-2026 school year. This year, seniors who drive have assigned parking spaces. While we were nervous at first about the idea of assigned spaces, having assigned parking spots has made things much more organized. Everyone who gets a parking permit is assigned a specific spot, so there's no racing to get to a certain, beat people to it. And it helps with safety because staff always know where cars belong in which spots. It solves arguments and any confusion about who always parks where. This school year, we've seen strong progress since MacBooks were banned from class reviews. Teachers have been consistently enforcing the policy, and their efforts are clearly paying off. Students are now much more focused, engagement has improved, and overall learning time is being used more efficiently. Additionally, the new late arrival system has already made a noticeable difference. By handing out pre-signed late passes at the front entrance, students simply add their names and head to class, which reduced hallway traffic and made the process faster and far more efficient as well. And lastly, one of our peers, Dylan, has been selected, and we are excited to have her and the students have a larger audience at the Board of Education meetings this year. This fall, we kicked off senior year with several traditions that brought our class together. We started with our senior portraits, where everyone took their individual portraits for the yearbook. We also took the grade senior photo, which was a nice way to bring everyone together. We then held the annual senior sunrise, where the grade met on the turf early in the morning to watch the sunrise together. Afterwards, we headed into the senior commons for a bagel breakfast, which was a really fun way to start the day. Lastly, we celebrated senior days for all of our fall sport teams. During these events, senior athletes were recognized by our teammates, coaches, and families for their commitment and leadership. Next is Halloween. It was one of our most spirited days of the year. Students, teams, and administrators all get involved and make it a great celebration.
Student government and the Pep Club organized our annual policy night to get ready for the pep rally and homecoming events. All varsity teams came out for homecoming sign making, and we're always grateful to our cafeteria staff for putting together the delicious pasta meals. The junior and senior high school is full of so many talented athletes. Our girls varsity soccer team won the Long Island Championships, and girls varsity tennis earned a Nassau County champion honors. We are so excited to host the upcoming Battle of the Harbor wrestling event and January cheerleading competition. Our Pep Club members are eager to promote these sports as well as varsity basketball and varsity hockey games. Come out and support them at an upcoming game.
Now the Cold Spring Harbor Arts. The senior high drama clue was a huge hit. Members of the junior and senior high school participated in the performance, some on the stage and some behind the scenes, but all contributed to a very successful show. Junior high students shared their musical talents with us at the junior high winter concert and art exhibition and kicked off the start to the holiday season. If you missed it, be sure to attend the Senior High Winter Concert and Art Exhibition next Thursday, December 18th. You will not be disappointed. In the coming days and months, Colton Harbor will welcome the Grovertones for a performance featuring CSH alumni Michael Gallagher, host the Nassau Music Educators Association All-County Rehearsals and Concert, welcome senior community members for dinner and showing off of the Senior High Musical the Music Band, and present the Junior High Musical in March as well. These are all exciting events, and if you haven't yet experienced the incredible music and artistic talent of our students, we encourage you to attend these upcoming events. Recently, eligible high school students were recognized at the Fall Honor Society inductions, including the World Language Honor Society, Art Honor Society, and National Honor Society. Additionally, students collected new socks throughout October and gathered leftover Halloween candy, with all donations going to the Helping Hands Rescue Mission. The second annual Fall Food Drive was also a huge success. The Junior Helpers partnered with the Halloran and members of the Student Leadership class to donate over 1,000 items to St. Patrick's Food Pantry. We look forward to seeing these efforts continue to grow each year.
On October 22nd this year, we celebrated Unity Day, a nationwide event that promotes kindness, acceptance, and standing up against bullying. Students and faculty wore orange to show support for a safe and inclusive school environment. We also celebrated Red Ribbon Week, which was celebrated. Red Ribbon Week was celebrated the week of October 27th with the Red Ribbon Spirit Week, including Peace Out Drugs Theme Day, where students and faculty wore tie-dye or groovy outfits. Ms. Navarro, the school social worker, visited health classes to discuss drug awareness and also organized school resource fair featuring local agencies such as Gooding Wellness Group and Al-Anon and Alateen. Pep Club is also planning holiday spirit days to bring festive energy to the school. Does anyone have any questions?
Oh, okay, great job, thank you for that overview. I like the updates too, and the new improvements. If any of you have any ideas we can do better, you don't have to give them tonight, but if you do, certainly share away. If not, pass them on to Dylan or write us an email, because we're always looking for ways to do things better for the students.
Thank you.
We'd like to wish you all a happy and healthy holiday season. Thank you so much.
As president of the board, here are my updates to the public. As we near the end of the year, I want to wish our students, families, faculty, and staff a joyful and restorative holiday season. This is a time to reflect on our accomplishments and the strong community partnerships that make our district so exceptional. Our good faith negotiations with the teachers are ongoing, with our first mediation session with the fact finder scheduled for Monday. We are optimistic this process will help us reach a fair and equitable resolution that benefits our entire school community. On behalf of the Board of Education, we wish everyone a peaceful holiday break filled with joy, rest, and time with loved ones. Happy New Year, everyone. Before I turn this over to Mr. Monastero for his superintendent's report, our student ex officio board member, Dylan Savarese, has something to share with us that she's been working on, increasing student participation in our climate survey. Dylan, could you give us a moment of your time to share your thoughts tonight?
Hi, everyone. I'm not sure if I heard you. Mike. Hello, everyone. So nice to see everyone. And I want to give a quick update. Mrs. Libertini and I have been working on shortening the climate survey that went out to the entire district, but specifically for students, to improve the feedback from the students specifically, given that the students are in the building for the longest amount of time, and basically to just improve the school in the most impactful way possible. And we're shortening the survey and redirecting it so that the student's opinion is heard. Thank you.
Thank you so much for working on that, Dylan. Now I will turn over the meeting to the superintendent for his report.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you, deal and looking forward to your results. Good evening, members of the Board of Education, students, staff, families, and members of our community. Welcome to our December 9th Board of Education meeting. As we gather tonight, I want to extend my warmest appreciation to our Board of Education, our students, administrators, faculty, staff, families, and community members for joining us. This is always a busy and joyful time of the year in Cold Spring Harbor, and our schools are full of excitement and learning. This week, our Lloyd Harbor School Winter Concert takes place on Thursday here in the PAC, and the Westside and Lloyd Harbor Holiday Boutiques are in full swing. I also want to remind the community that the UPK lottery application closes this week on Friday, and we encourage all interested families to submit their application before the deadline. Next week, we look forward to both the West Side School and high school winter concerts, always a highlight of the season and a testament to the talented and dedication of our students and music educators. We are also proud to host our Collegial Circles professional learning event next week. Teachers from across Long Island will join us here in Cold Spring Harbor to learn from one another, collaborate, and continue growing in their practice. We're expecting over 110 teachers to participate this year. This is an exceptional program supported by the Cold Spring Harbor Central School District Education and underwritten by the Cold Spring Harbor Education Foundation. I want to extend my sincere thanks to Ms. Libertini and Ms. Demboski for the leadership in organizing and spearheading this work. In the coming days, we'll also welcome 2 new members of our district team. Mr. Eric Rolenhoff joining us in facilities. Eric is right here. Thank you, Eric. And Dr. Celentano in the business office. We're excited for both of them to begin their tenure here in Cold Spring Harbor and become part of the Cold Spring Harbor family. Our students continue to shine in extraordinary ways. Congratulations to the cast and crew of Lloyd Harbor's outstanding production of Cinderella at the end of November. It was a truly remarkable show. And special congratulations as well to Catherine Ziegler, who performed this week at the All-State Symphony Orchestra in Rochester, an incredible honor. In recent weeks, our students have been deeply engaged in rich learning experiences, from cooking labs that bring curriculum to life, a visit from Teddy Roosevelt at Westside School, Gusto students connecting with peers across New York State, participating in the Love Thanksgiving Disguise Project, and both Westside and Lloyd Harbor students visiting the DNA Learning Center to explore fruit fly mutations and deepening their science inquiry. These moments, like so many others, remind us that in this season of thanks and learning, our students are truly thriving. I want to close by expressing my heartfelt gratitude to our staff and families and our entire community. Your partnership, support, and unwavering commitment to our students makes Cold Spring Harbor such a special place. Together we continue to nurture curiosity, creativity, and confidence in every child. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for being the essential part to the Cold Spring Harbor family. In this holiday season, please take care of yourself if you can. Take care of someone in need. Heather?
Okay, thank you, Joe. We're closing the first discussion section of our agenda. We have one item on there right now, but of course you guys can add more. Short though, we allowed, I think that Mr. Jezel has
Okay, thanks. So no one wants to hear me. All the great things that everyone else is doing in this district, and I don't know if people know that in addition to all the wonderful things we do in our district, but I can speak from experience. On Sunday, we had almost 200 girls, mostly from this district, and their parents here doing an event for children in foster care, and you were here early setting up. You brought gifts for the children. You stayed late. You made sure that facilities and security took home things with them too for their families. I think we tried to push cookies on everyone, and there was a bake sale earlier this year for the victims of the floods in Texas through the same organization, and Mr. Monastero was out there with all the little girls in this district and their mothers selling cookies and apple juice and iced teas, and he gives up his time without even thinking twice about it. So in this time of recognizing people, we need to recognize you as well.
Yeah.
So I've been asked by the Board of Education to make a brief presentation of something that we did about a month ago, which is a report on our capital projects and how we expend allowances within those capital projects. So this report, which is or will be available, it's available to board members now, and we'll make it available to the public as well on our website, is a list of all of the projects we have done since 2013 from either our capital reserve or the bond. And for each project, which is identified by the account number on the left-hand side of the screen, so that first one, forgive me, I know it's small, but I'll read it to you. It's H 2014.300-001. And what that means is this project was done in the 2013-14 fiscal year. We used the capital reserve to do at Lloyd Harbor some asphalt work and a lawn and the main office. The project was done by a vendor called Metro Group of Long Island. We estimated the project would cost $258,000, which is what we encumbered. The eventual cost was $266,000, which was the result of additional work in the amount of $8,000, and you can see on the right-hand side, beyond the original scope. Now, there are references to change orders for this project, and I'm just going to show you how make believe I can show you. And why isn't it working? Well, when it does work, if it did work, by clicking on that link, you'd be able to see all of the change orders associated with this project. Here. I'm sorry, but if you did click on the link, you would be able to see all of the change orders that were related to this project, the dollar amount, what the purposes were of the change order, what the additional $8,000 was spent for, etc. There was a concern raised by members of the board that it seemed like every allowance was in fact consumed by the contractors. And that's largely true from 2013 to a few years ago. Some of these change orders are return of money to the school district, money that was not spent out of the allowance. And recently, when the bond was finished, there were a significant number of change orders that returned money to the school district that was not expended. This report is 6 pages long, and it again lists every project that was done from 2013 to 2025. Sorry I can't demonstrate the change orders, but I'd be happy to take any questions that board members may have.
Thank you, Joe. That was a really clear presentation. Does anyone have any questions on it?
When you look at given your years of experience as a business officer, when you looked at the use of allowances, did you find those at a customary level, or did you seem like they were abnormally high?
The number of change orders was not unusual. The fact that the change orders were not seen by the Board of Education before the work was done, in my experience, is unusual. And in fact, I've made a recommendation to this board, and I will make it to my successor as well, that every dollar that is spent on a capital project be known to the board before it is committed. The fact that a contractor has a $100,000 allowance in a $20 million project doesn't mean that he should spend all $100,000 unless the Board of Education has determined that those projects, additional work is necessary. Much of the work is necessary, Mark, as you know, because a contractor may open a wall and see a chase for pipes that are covered in asbestos and can't proceed until we abate the asbestos. Some of the work in many of these change orders were actual requests by the school district to do additional work. The example we've talked about a number of times was we had 2 PA systems, that one in the new wing, one in the old wing, and the architect had not planned for those PA systems to talk to each other in the high school. So the district said, that's silly, let's connect the PA systems so that Mr. Dambusky doesn't have to make the announcements twice. And that work was done at a cost of about $30,000. In many cases, if the contract had been written correctly in the first place, that $30,000 would have been part of the base cost. However, he may have sharpened his pencil a little bit more, the contractor, when he had to win the project, including that $30,000 expense. So I hope that answers your question.
And Joe, I think we've talked about this a lot, but just maybe with the new people in the room, that these allowances were only returned once we questioned them, and in the history of allowances or culture carver, or whatever you want to call it, they have never been returned. Or at least we could say maybe going back, I don't know, 15 or 20 years, we were told. So I kind of want that on the record every time we discuss this, that until we were questioning them, until we looked at every dollar, and Mark did most of the work in looking at every light fixture, every tile, we finally started getting those allowances back.
Yeah, I can't speak to that, Kate, because quite frankly, I just wasn't here when those change orders were implemented. But I can assure you that that will not be the case going forward. As you know, Joe and I already talked with you about, for example, the wet lab at the high school, where we had to do additional work, and it was going to be $15,000. That was going to be charged against the remaining allowance. We didn't go forward until the board had an opportunity to weigh in on that. And that's the way it should be done.
So you touched on a number of different topics. You kind of dipped along the way. I want to just drill down on some of these. To start again, in your experience, and you even said in days past, the allowances were often taken, as Kate just mentioned. Until recently, that practice has changed. In your determination of analyzing this, why was that the case?
I have no idea.
Is it unusual that the allowances were almost always taken in the past?
I've seen many allowances used in full and more.
Because when we interviewed architects, they said that's often not the case, that allowances are taken. It's either the result of one of four things. As you said, client directed,
Right?
poor planning or design work, fire marshal, or unforeseen, you open a wall. I'm trying to, so how much of this is due to client directed? Do we have any idea?
I can tell you that in the case of the allowance of $100,000 for Raleigh Electric, which was the one that sparked this conversation, virtually all of it was client directed. The wet lab was part of that.
That's new.
The
Yeah.
speaker, the PA was part of that. Running a cable, a fiber optic cable to connect to the new science wing was part of that. Now, that begs the question, should the architect have planned for those things?
You said it before I got to it, so exactly. That wet lab is on what generation of design at this point?
I know
It looks like we're at the home stretch.
I know that Ms. Libertini was probably here for a couple of years while that project was being designed and was surprised to come back and find that it hadn't been finished yet.
Surprised.
And I will tell you, don't be mistaken by her size. She told me she'd cut me down to size if we didn't get that lab done. So it's in the process, by the way.
I don't know if you would know this, but do you know the square footage of the new science wing?
No, I don't. I do know that the total square footage of the entire district is 400,000 square feet. If that gives approximately, gives you some sense of the size of our buildings.
And before, what were the procedures for an allowance to be taken? And wasn't the architect just merely had to ask our construction manager if it was?
No, sir. No, sir.
No, before, when all these were being taken?
No, it wasn't that. There were several people from the district involved in that decision. Your business official and your director of facilities and the construction manager
Okay.
and the architect.
So there was always oversight? when
Always a representative from the district.
So what did you
The
say?
people that were missing were the Board of Education. Who owns the money? That's the people who should have.
No, but we always had oversight and all these allowances were taken? That's what the case was?
Yes, as a district, yes, we did have people in the room, as Andrew Hamilton would say, in the room at the time the decision was made.
And now if an allowance is taken, the board
I'm
becomes...
sorry, it's Alexander Hamilton.
Okay.
I have a history teacher, correct?
And now the board approves allowances?
When you approve allowances, Mark, as part of the contract, the reason why you do that is because the architect designs the project to include an allowance. Why? Because the architect knows that scope creep happens. That when the pack is going to be done, that somebody's going to say, the curtains look great here, but we should have some balances around the top. And somebody decides, that's a great idea. Let's spend part of the allowance on the balances. And the next thing you know, there's $20,000 spent on balances. But that decision should not be made without the Board of Education knowing in advance.
So given that there's now a change and we're actually seeing frequent returns of unused allowances when in years past we didn't, what would be the way to ever determine if those allowances were properly taken or not?
You can't go backwards. You have to trust that the professionals you hired, the architect, the construction manager, your business official, and your director of facilities had the best interest of the district at heart. We're talking about 15 years ago. And looking backwards is not going to get any money back for the district. It's looking forward that you need to do.
Yeah, no, it went over the span of many years. I'm not looking back 15 years at an isolated event. So I'm looking at millions of dollars, that's why. Just want to make sure that job making sure.
And I'm sure, Allison and Eric are hearing me say this, I'm sure that they're going to follow through to make sure that the.
I have
board
no
is-
question we're going to get it right,
Right.
or we've been getting it right. It's just odd that all of a sudden we're getting money back and we never used to, right?
I actually don't, according to this report, though, I feel like that's not true. Every time there's a negative amount, that's money given back.
There's some negatives,
Yes, there are
I
some.
mean, there,
but in the scope of the total dollars, it's very small, I think, right?
no, a lot of the allowances,
Let's go back.
I mean, we're just even looking at allowance.
Pull up the $200,000 one that was taken.
Let's look at the 2016.
Let's look at the $200,000 one. It was fully taken.
I need my technical assistance.
You know, we'd be here all for
We have
hours.
that $40,000 and $50,000 allowance. So looking through these, it seems like the allowances weren't always fully taken.
So J&S Heating Service, the second line, $10,000 was returned unused.
Right,
Out of $10,000.
right,
Not a penny of the allowance was used.
right.
When did we get that check back?
Oh, God, 12 years ago.
Because I know we were getting checks back from work that was done.
I think
Years ago.
also that we did the bond project, right, Joe? And we were waiting
Yeah.
for, like, a bunch of stuff came in at one time because we were closing out the bond project.
Yes,
So
ma'am,
why
that's
we were-
exactly correct. The bond project was the resulted in most of the returns that you got. And the reason why they were delayed was because the bond project was such a large project in scope that we had to wait until all the trades were finished before we submitted the final cost report, and that resulted in our getting change orders late in the process. Here's another one, Mark, that was the Park Line asphalt. They returned $40,000 to us.
So this begs the question, why were we told that money was never given back in the last 15 years?
It wasn't me who told you that.
I thought it was Christine. Or was it Christine? Right?
Yeah. Hold on, go on. Let's go slowly through this. Go up. Yeah. Keep going.
You know, we're such a beginning of this discussion, Mark said he never heard that. Right. And Joe said he'd never seen so much money either.
So I see another one with $2,557.51 being given back. You see it more?
Yeah.
I mean, there are allowances that were completely used, and there are allowances that were exceeded, that there was an additional change order beyond what the allowance allowed for. That's clear from this report, but it's not true that every single allowance was completely used.
Keep going.
I see two in a row, one $3,000 being returned and another $20,000.
Yeah, that's in 24. That's when we started getting them back in the recent years.
Yeah,
Where's the $200,000 item? Where's that?
I don't know, are you
Are you
seeing it?
seeing additions?
Additional work. So additional work, $500,000 used against allowances. I guess that's all client directed.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Because that's the only one that we don't have any documentation.
Oh, it's only $500,000.
What is unforeseen, so they don't give us like unforeseen conditions, additional work, we don't really know what that was?
No, we unfortunately, Kate, this is the one project that we could not find the documented change order.
Again, the koi pond, where's the koi pond?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Another set of.
Where are we at?
I don't know, that's not that high.
Do we have a koi pond?
No.
All right.
Higher
Does somebody have?
Well, if we had a forensic accountant involved in that $500,000.
We have a $60,000 koi pond that begs to differ. That's the koi
I mean,
pond.
is this a question for our attorney, not for Joe? Just, I mean, do we need to get, we've talked about this before, and I actually, we've asked a lot of, we asked our internal auditors to take a look at some of this also, but maybe we need,
Joe, can you go down?
Sure. Down, lower, or up?
I see the case file.
Dennis?
I think it's.
yeah, do you remember, hold on.
If you have concerns,
Can I just hear what Dennis is saying?
sure, if you have concerns about the lack of documentation, you can do a forensic audit.
Yeah.
Request that you go as a board to either review the documentation through an outside special auditor.
I think that's,
Is that a vote that we take now, Dennis?
We'd have to,
You were walking it on?
we'd have to walk it on. I mean, if we're, well,
All right, so do you guys?
I think-
Does anyone know anything about it?
No.
Why are we paying $50,000 to know? I think we need to do.
Look into this. All right.
This is something we've been discussing, so I
so
think we
like,
should just.
over and over and over again.
Yeah,
Let's just start it.
So, all right. So to that point, I'm going to make a motion to request that it was an internal, what are yours?
We want forensic.
A forensic accountant to take a look at this particular item. So I'm going to take a motion to request that. Can I have it first? Ed, just Ed.
do you want to be specific, or do you want to look at forms just now?
Okay.
I think before we say what it is, let's continue to look down.
Do we need, Dennis, do we need to say what we're looking at?
Yeah, I think we should be specific, particularly if there's boards.
I came here before we meeting to discuss it, and then we can go also.
No, we have to take a vote.
Okay. Okay, all right, so we'll leave that for now.
Yes.
Okay, so Dennis suggested that we speak about this legal things act, and then you would take a motion to add this on. At a later time. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Good work. Thank you so much, Joe.
Oh, you're welcome.
Bring it together.
You're welcome.
We'll miss you.
No, you won't. You'll have Allison.
Does anyone have anything else to share in this discussion? Okay, Mark, go ahead.
Couple of questions. Actually, just didn't even have it on my list. Mr. M, we're in the home stretch for the wet lab, I guess. Home stretch for the wet lab. All right.
Sorry, I was asking you to write that last thing down. Joe, could you ask Joe again, because I was asking
Yeah,
to write
actually, I
that
think
down?
Ms. Lupatini was going to answer.
Sure, I can give you an update on what.
Thank you.
So last Friday, they came in, they used diamond cutters to begin to cut all the tanks. We're almost complete with rack number 1. Rack number, the RO tanks have been set up in the ancillary space next to the wet lab. Those will be creating all of the water. That's from ROs and reverse osmosis, for those of you who are not science people. And that will feed basically all the tanks and the systems. So we'll get that up and running first. They're returning again on Thursday and Friday. They've ordered some more cutting saws to make sure that they can expedite the process. We should have the first rack system completed and fully running by early next week.
Excellent. The students, I guess, the students we're gonna, I guess, poll them again because the participation was low, and actually that is that what I was hearing? For the student percent, yeah. So, I actually had that on my list. I was thinking after the last meeting that the participation is so low. One way to do it may be to do it, like for example, if we're doing a poll on the food, to have even tablets at the end, walk around the cafeteria when they're there, just fill it out short. And if it's right in front of them and it takes a few minutes, they might do it that way. We'll get higher turnout for that. And also, in general for students, if we even take a few minutes of instruction time in a specific, class, and just, we really want to get more than 30 students to give us feedback because it's so important. So it sounds like you're already beat me to it, or however you do it. Thank you.
We have, just so you know, 388 so far students take the meal survey.
Okay, excellent.
Pretty good.
Excellent. And the other thing, two more things. Just, Mr. M, how many people adopted? Here is the paperless option we offered. Do you know? Or you can get
Roughly, I would say it's about 70%.
Oh, great.
That's, I can give you specific, but I think it's
No,
about
that's close.
70%.
A lot of people opted for paperless when they, for certain. Great, that's excellent. And then a topic came up last meeting. We talked about writing grants as either going on a contingency basis or hiring somebody. It did further, I wouldn't call it intensive work, but even well-funded organizations can still qualify for millions of dollars in grants. So we shouldn't just write off that as an opportunity. And I would just urge us to look again, if we haven't started the process, to either have a grant writer in-house. The investment could be paid for, many times over, or even on a contingency basis if we find those services we can employ, and it would be bound money. So that's something I really think we should continue to explore.
If I could add, and I saw Eric smile very much there, that I think in all three of his interviews he talked about his grant writing skills that he's done already, so we're very happy. That's one of the things that helped attract us to hiring him. And Allison, the same thing, talked about grant writing, so we've got two people right here who've done it in the past, and I'm excited to work going forward.
Excellent. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Anybody else have a matter for discussion? All right. On committee reports, we will now move to committee reports and the work that has occurred since our last board meeting. I know policy has met, technology committee, anyone else? Capital facility. Do you want to start, Lisa?
Sure. So the tech committee met on November 17th. I'd like to thank Dr. Fulton, the head of the committee, for providing me with this wonderful summary. We met on November 17th at the high school. The dates for the upcoming meetings were reviewed and shared with the committee, along with updates for the current year 25-26 budgeted items. Some of the items installed from the current budget included new copy machines in all buildings, iPads in the libraries at both West Side and White Harbor, a SAN server, virtual desktop thin clients, and Chromeboxes for the community Pro meeting boards. The second half of the meeting focused on the New York State Technology Plan due in 2026. The committee reviewed the district's current mission and vision statements for the technology plan. The term evolving was added to the vision because the committee felt it reflected the ever-changing needs of technology and education. Ideas for goals were also discussed, and the committee agreed that 3 goals, as in the last tech plan, were sufficient. We will be meeting again next Wednesday, December 17th.
Great, thank you, Lisa. Capital facilities, who wants to speak on that for us?
Mark.
Were you doing that?
No, Mark's doing that.
I'm doing that? Okay. I don't have my agenda, but the capital facility is off to an excellent start. I don't know, did we do an update on our first meeting?
We did. We voted
Okay.
on
We approved, no, I think I gave the update in the board meeting on our first meeting, is that what you're saying? I don't think you were in the meeting.
Okay. Anyway, if you recall, we reached out and have community members participate with board members and administration, as well as our outside vendors in terms of architect, construction manager. I think we talked about, we're redoing the building survey with our new architects. And, thank you. And we're triaging must-dos in terms of, to determine our costs and projects that need to be done in the short term. Without going on and on about the committee meeting, it's more of a very cooperative back and forth. Eric, our new facilities manager, attended the last meeting, already bringing great insights and value to the discussion. Our new architect is doing the same. So, the new team is in place. We had community members that went around and interviewed the building heads, got great information. We're really reaching out to find how we can make this institution the best it can be, and we are getting things done, and our new business officer as well attended. So everybody's really working together, and I'm very optimistic it's going to really change. Sorry, speaking so slow. Change how we do things in a good way. So I'm excited.
Mark, I have a question for you. When we did our building visits as the board and we walked around, we were looking for areas of improvement, and one of the areas that a few of the board members noticed was the cafeteria and the age of the cafeteria. In fact, it looks the same as when I was there and when I was in school here in the 90s. It looked like something from a Bargon era, 50s or 60s. It still looks that way. So I guess my question is, has there been consideration of putting some work into that area by the committee? And where are we on that?
So we haven't discussed it more at this time, because it is, what we're doing is really understanding our costs and our budget. We might have repairs that go into the millions of dollars that need to be done. We have to look at our budget, and then we have to start planning in terms of this year's budget, putting money in the capital budget for future projects like a cafeteria, or we might have to spend it on roofing instead, or we might have to spend it on new HVAC. So there are millions of dollars of obligations that are going to be coming up in the next, as soon as the next 3 years. We do have money that we can access, but that's why they're redoing the building survey. But the plan is to hopefully offer our students a buffet-style college environment type cafeteria that would be really wonderful.
Yeah, so if you don't mind me just jumping in, the cafeteria, while it's an amazing idea, is more of a wish list item. When, as Mark was describing, in this committee, you kind of just are trying to come up with a prioritized list of must-dos. So, yes, we'd love to have a cafeteria, a new one, but if the roof is leaking, you should be.
So when will we have a timeline of when? Because and can we do some of these things at the same time? Because you could still do new work, and we do that all the time, even while we're running necessary work.
So he said that the architect should have a building survey for us by the end of January. Okay. So we have our next meeting scheduled for 2 weeks of February.
Right, so we're gonna do quickly get our
Yeah,
arms
and,
around it.
right, yes, so right in time for budget season. And also, Joe was in the meeting as well, and he told us, you can do projects you can group them together in order to get state aid. So, like maybe we can do the cafeteria in phases. Like these are all things we're going to need to discuss, but there are, like Mark said, there are things coming down the road, like a lot of things were installed at the same time, so our kids failing at the same time. So, we need to know how much money we need to put into that before we can kind
That's good.
of do all of the
We're gonna
amazing things that we want.
Right.
to do.
A
We're gonna get a
roadmap.
roadmap before we go into budget season, basically.
Right.
So then we could consider some of those new projects and what we're gonna prioritize with those necessary must-do projects by then. That's great.
Right, we set aside the time between Christmas and New Year, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, to work with the architect and Eric to tour the buildings, to really get deep inside. There'll be no students there, so it'll be a great time to do that. And just that we don't want everything to do everything now, so everything comes due 20 years now. Like, at the same time, what can we spread out so we have a plan of action to take care of things that's needed and stuff in the future be needed, and then it's spread out for the next phase too.
It was kind of stammering because it's a very involved discussion we were having that required, there was multiple things to take into consideration. And certainly, we do want to make those type of improvements, like a cafeteria, college style, and hopefully, we're also going to move to try to do things more in-house. Even if that requires hiring an additional staff, if we can acquire the machinery, do it ourselves, in the end, it's much cheaper than paying an outside service and then the much higher rates we have to pay for insurance, labor, et cetera. So, and Eric is very skilled in the areas of building construction, facilities management. So very lucky to have him on board, and it's a new day, I think. So very exciting.
And if you remember at our last board meeting, we approved our last 2 maintenance people, so we have a full staff of 4. So we see a lot of work getting done quickly. In fact, today about 6 o'clock, they were working in the hallway right over here. I saw some of the maintenance people working, so very happy to do that.
Excellent. All right. So,
Thank you, Mark.
thanks, Mark. On the list to go, the policy committee met on November 21st. We updated policy 1230, the public comment at board meetings, to align with the board's current practices and to clarify procedures that help meetings run more smoothly, including how to proceed in the event of disruption, the manner in which comments may be addressed to the board, and the appropriate manner of responses from the board and the superintendent. In addition, we drafted a statement for the board president to read at meetings if, in the case of large attendance, to help ensure more orderly and efficient public comment period. Since these statements are not included in the policy, I'm just going to take a minute to read them to you guys so you can get a sense for what they are. In the event there's a large number of community members present at the meeting, the board president will include in his or her president report, we see there's a large number of individuals present at tonight's meeting, and we have placed a sign up for audience to visitors in the back of the room for us to better manage the audience to visitors. Please include your name, address, and the topic of your comment. This will allow us to get back to you if necessary. In the event of many individuals signing up, the comments will be organized by topic and provided to the board president during audience to visitors. In the event a lot of people have signed up for audience to visitors, the president will include in the audience to visitors opening. We have many people signed up to speak tonight. In order for everyone to be heard, we are requesting that each speaker organize their thoughts to stay within the 3-minute time limit. There will be another opportunity for public comment toward the end of the meeting. Another sign-up sheet will be provided for the second session of audience to visitors. So that is that.
I have one more. I have the Health and Safety Committee.
Oh, all right, great.
We met on November 25th. Is that Mr. Smith in the back?
Yes.
Did I trouble shortly in case I forget. First topic is proposed by, I think it was Mr. Monastero, or was that with regard to the phone recording system? That's something the board might want to discuss in the next discussion period. Proposal is to have a system, there was two systems, right? One was
Always for on demand.
okay,
Always recorded on demand.
One was all calls recorded at all times or on demand. The on demand is cheaper, so that's something we should discuss if we want to have that in our district. Drills, the safety drills are progressing on schedule. Nothing there, right? The Cold Spring Harbor Security Academy and staff training. Could you share with us what exactly that means, that we're now one of the few certified districts in the state?
Yeah, so we're looking into a way to train the guards here in-house instead of getting someone from outside. We probably have a better control over it, and we could set the curriculum. I was a law enforcement trainer, and Bill Malone, who was a guard, was also a law enforcement trainer in our police careers. So we petitioned the state, and when I both got certification to train security guards. Because we really filled in most of the groundwork, so I'm giving credit for it. Then in order to train them, we had to become an accredited training academy, which we became Cold Spring Harbor School District Training Academy. There's only two other school districts on Long Island right now, Rockville Center and Oshie's are the only two, so we're the third. So it was a nice job by Bill, and now we'll be able to train our own guards and recertify them going forward in-house, saving some money, but more importantly, we can establish kind of the standards of what we want to train.
Very good. And then, were those additional AEDs you wanted, are they on order?
Yes, I talked to Mike, he's putting them in his budget, so they should be in his budget next year.
Okay, and then the other items were just security improvements. We're looking to maybe, instead of rent, or at least to buy a golf cart.
We were looking into something like that I put into the budget for next year. It was either a golf cart or maybe some type of utility vehicle, which is more expensive, it would depend on, budgeting. The advantage was with the golf cart is we'd be able to, address it as a security cart, maybe put some graphics on it, some lighting, which would stand out more omnipresence than just the golf cart we currently use. We also have it available all year long, even though it's kind of cold winter. We currently pay, I'm not sure what the rent is, but I think it pretty much offsets it with purchasing it. Utility vehicle, you could use all year, and almost use it as kind of a mobile command post or mobile guard station, but that's a little more expensive, so it would be the board's decision which way they want to go with that.
Would that be different from the golf carts that are rented through athletics? Because Mr. Bungino, I remember we talked to him about that and the benefit. It's a different golf cart.
We've looked at different ones, some that are gasoline or diesel powered or electric ones.
Ones through athletics, I remember asking, so I thought it would be less expensive to just buy one, but it was on like some contract where if one goes down, they bring another one right away.
Right, that's correct. The benefit is if it's on them for all repairs. These would be on us, so we'd imagine the first couple of years it would be repairs. But also one of the benefits that Rich had mentioned is one of the units, and we're looking at a couple, are air conditioned and or heated. So they could, like today when it's 20 degrees out, that could be the unit that everybody uses to go around, and could also be transported to different buildings because of the type of vehicle. Correct. So like when we had the Goose Hill picnic, it could be there as a mobile command center.
Do we, I know when we went to the Locust Valley, their fields are, it's hard to get to from the parking lot, and they had a golf cart that was like a multi-seater, like that could sit 6 passengers or whatever, and it picked up, and my father-in-law, some other people who have a hard time walking around to get them down.
Yeah, they're on all sizes. You can get 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, of course.
But have we talked about doing something like that to help with the elderly grandparents and people who...
Yeah, it would definitely be used for that if we did decide to purchase either a golf cart or utility vehicle would also do that. So it would definitely serve that use too.
They had like a special meeting spot parking area, which is great.
I know we have used our cart just at football game this year. I just remember I was there. The wife, he drops his wife off at the stands. He parked when the security guard picked him up at the front seat and dropped him off. But it was one of our schools. Yeah, but it wasn't. They asked me to.
We had something.
They
When
bring
the
it
Remembrance Ball, remember we had
Those were rented.
those we rented, that's like what we need. Yeah.
Yeah, the price of the nicer ones was getting up there, though. We were like 35, 40.
You're looking at the golf cart, which is basic golf cart, which is limited use, there's no heat or anything like that. Those started around 12,000, which I think we pay a little over 6 to rent a year, so after 2 years, you're pretty good shape. And even maintaining them, I doubt it, $6,000 you're gonna maintain. Once you go up to that utility vehicle, now it's used all year long, but that was, well, the state contract right now from the Belmore School District is 32,000. And it's sure going up next year. Who knows? But that's what it would be right now. Belmore has it on contract right now.
Can I ask a question? So last year, in this committee, we had discussed having a drill or a plan in place for incidents that possibly happen after school, and I guess before school. Has that been discussed? Has that been done? If there's if something happens after school and there's teams playing, is there a plan for that?
Yeah, we actually talked about it at the health and safety. We're looking at whether it's a tabletop or definitely something over the drill after school. After school drills are a little tricky because it's not really addressing the students like you need, but it is needed. So
What
we're
is the
definitely
plan?
looking at a couple different options.
Great.
Lisa, that
that
kind of brings up the question that I've been thinking about. So, do we ever do those safety drills or the fire drills during lunch and recess?
principals we know more about these days.
Well, in the high school, everybody has
Principals are saying. So we've done it during recess and lunch. Okay, good.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have anything else? Any other committees I missed? Anything? No? Okay, thank you. We now continue with our first audience to visitors. The Cold Spring Harbor Board of Education and Administration welcome your attendance at Board of Education meetings. Audience to the public affords residents an opportunity to address the Board of Education on both agenda and non-agenda items. Each resident is allowed to speak for 3 minutes. This is not the forum to discuss student or staff-specific issues. Please contact the district secretary on these matters.
I just wanted to confirm, is this the correct location?
Yes. And does it,
Is this microphone on?
is it?
Jeffrey
I-
says yes.
Yes, he said.
It's working?
Text says yes.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, I'm Jocelyn Wang. A fellow graduate from my 1997 Cold Spring Harbor High School class recently gave me a wonderful book entitled Love Brimming, Reflections on Teaching, Learning, and Love. The book was published in 2021 and originated in 2017 when longtime Cold Spring Harbor High School teacher Maureen Ackerman was diagnosed with cancer. Jessica Tyke, a Cold Spring Harbor graduate, decided to work with Mrs. Ackerman's former students to publish a book describing how they had been, in the words of Tyke, profoundly influenced by their time in Mrs. Ackerman's class. Best-selling author Roger Rosenblatt, who reviewed the book, remarked, "No teacher, prospective or practicing, should be without this inspiring book. No school board member should be either, so hopefully you can add it to your holiday wish list." There are 6 enlightening quotes in the book that I'd like to share with you this evening, each of which is relevant to the last contract between the board and the HTA. Quote number 1, from Celeste Perry, who was in my sister's class at Cold Spring Harbor High School and currently serves as executive editor for equities at Bloomberg News. "The role of the teacher and of all the beloved adults in students' lives should be to help kids find those things that light them on fire. I humbly ask that when you head home this evening, each member of the board reflects upon a teacher who lit a fire in you and how this helped shape your life." Quote number 2, from Brian McGovern, emergency physician who has worked this position for both USA Lacrosse and USA Wrestling. "Every undertaking carries with it the possibility of failure, which can be debilitating.
but Mrs. Ackerman's class was constructed around the desire to succeed. The message was constant: you cannot fail if you risk discovering your capabilities. This required a leap of faith and more energy than I was used to giving. But because it was presented to her students as almost certain success, I came to consider, why not? In order for the Board of Education and HTA to successfully conclude contract negotiations, perhaps a leap of faith and extra energy will be required. But it can be done. Quotes number 3 and 4. From Tara Malone Kearney, award-winning education journalist at the Chicago Tribune and one of my Cold Spring Harbor High School rowing teammates. Mrs. Ackerman, quote, paired high praise with high expectations. From Bill Dan, a dad who now works in the tech industry, echoing Tara. How did Mrs. Ackerman help me and so many other students? It was a rare but not complicated mixture of enthusiasm and expectations. As board members, you are deserving of high praise for enthusiastically volunteering so many hours for our community. However, one of the school board's responsibilities is to finalize and execute contracts, and the expectation is that we will do so in a timely fashion. Number 5, from Mrs. Ackerman herself, I learned that listening to each other in a classroom or in life in general is worth however much practice it takes. In the 1990s, Cold Spring Harbor school board members invited teachers to their homes and even their kitchen tables in order to work through some of the stickiest points in contract negotiations. Both parties listened, looking at each other face to face until they saw eye to eye. How about trying that approach in 2025?
Austin, it's been 3 minutes, I think, but just finish up, feel free to
Okay,
finish.
final quote.
Yeah.
Here we go. Thank you so much, President. From Dr. Francis Roberts, whose name adorns the building where this board typically meets. During a long career as high school principal, superintendent of schools, and college president, I have seen endless proposals for improving schools. The reason why most fade and fail after brief periods is that reformers continually miss the point. What changes the lives of students is a caring, stimulating, supportive teacher. Investing in teachers is investing in students. If you invest in our children's teachers, with whom our kids spend most of their waking hours, you will make the best possible investment in Cold Spring Harbor students. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Mary Redden. I have 2 daughters in the district. I'm happy to hear that on Monday, I think you're going to be meeting and some negotiations will go on, so that's great. I hope that goes well. Because I'd like to remind the board and the community in general of the ramifications of continuing the way that we are. I think we have 3 contracts lapsing now. Teachers over 2 years now. Lapsed contracts, teacher retention. I mean, these are things that make the district look unstable. And I was looking over the weekend, I was trying to compare districts comparable to us, like Syosset, Jericho, Manhasset. Districts that are equal in pretty much affluent size and accomplishment. The differences were pretty stark. I was surprised. Cold Spring Harbor ranked last or near last at every major career point on the salary schedule between all 4. Cold Spring Harbor begins with the lowest starting salary out of all 4 districts and remains behind all 3 across the step ladder. Mid-career, step 15, we continue to trail behind, and at step 20 and at the doctoral level, the gap widens almost up to $20,000 between top paying district and Cold Spring Harbor. This isn't good. If you expect qualified candidates to come in between 5 and 10 years, you're going to have 70% of your staff gone. You're going to have to fill departments very, very quickly. And with math and science teachers, as it stands now, as difficult as they are to get, they're not going to want to come here to work. So please, on Monday, find some sort of solution so we can stop looking disadvantaged when we're compared to the districts like Syosset, Jericho, Manhasset, Garden City. They're not going to want to come here when they can go there. Thank you. Our superintendent to respond.
Thank you, Ms. Brennan. We have done analysis that may be similar to what you have done, and Joe doing a lot of it here, that in the town of Huntington, we can see some of our staff on average earn, and Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, at least $500,000 or more over their life of their career.
Right.
Many of the districts you mentioned there, some as more as $70,000 to $150,000 more over the life of their career.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure where your data came from, but we looked at a teacher over their life of their career and earning a significantly more money in close just on the teacher salary, not anything else.
I looked at the contract, is where I'm getting the information from. I mean, they're online. You know, you go online, go to See Through New York, look up the contract. I compared contracts that were only 2025, 26. Our contract obviously was last, so that's what I could use theirs for. But I'll email it to you if you'd like to see.
You definitely can. And we use the data we got from BOCES to do that analysis.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same data I'm using. So I'll email this to you if you'd like to have a discussion about it afterward, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Thank you. But I do stand by these figures.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Mr. Monastero, Dylan Savarese, great to see you up there. Ms. Libertini, what a credit to our district for getting you back. My name is Chris Homer from Cold Spring Harbor. I taught here for 27 years, and I've been a resident for about 18 years. I feel a great pride when I come into this building. I feel being an educator here was absolutely amazing, and I couldn't have picked a better career, and I truly love the district. I will let you know that being here for 27 years, I have been part of several contract negotiations, and I'm just asking you to try your best to get things settled. The harm that it causes educators and resentment, I don't know whether you realize, but being in the faculty room and with other teachers, some of them really do feel so discouraged and so disrespected. And I understand both sides have to be fair. I'm not saying it's all on the board. I'm just saying please be fair and understand by doing little things, it really can upset true professionals. And the thing that bothers me is sometimes I truly feel negotiations are set forth towards your worst nightmare teacher, the teacher who truly should not be a teacher, the teacher who gave your kid grief. Most professional teachers think they should be gone too. We didn't give them tenure, and I know a lot of you didn't give the longer term tenures here also. It's not on you either. Make those teachers face consequences. Give them a difficult time. Put letters in their file, because the true professionals feel the same way you do. So I'd love for you to negotiate more for the middle of the road teacher or the teachers who give everything every single day. I think that would be great. There are plenty of true professionals that truly make a difference in the kids' lives. They're here early, they meet with the kids, they care about the kids, they go to their extracurricular activities. As a taxpayer, I truly appreciate you being financially responsible. I really do. I know in Suffolk County, Cold Spring Harbor is rated extremely high on the salary level, but I also tell you, we have people who have so many years' experience and such high degrees that's why they are getting paid, and I think that's a benefit to our district and to our students. So I believe in the next 1 to 5 years, many teachers who are up there on the pay scale are going to be retiring, and that should save some of our budget money. And hopefully we will get very highly qualified teachers at lower, numbers to come in, but still do an excellent job. But I would like to tell you, in the last 10 years of my service here, I received 0% raise, 1% raise, a 0.5% raise, 1.5% raise, and that was about it in my last 10 years. And the year I retired, because we had 0 one year, then 1 year, I was giddy with excitement. I got a 1% raise. That I could put that towards my final average salary. I want you to be responsible. When I look at private sector, my daughter works for Suffolk County DA. She got an 8% raise last year. My other daughter works for Ralph Lauren. She got a 14% raise last year. I understand they're different jobs, but I just say 1% doesn't help with cost of living for a lot of these things. So I ask you just to try and be fair. If you're asking many more hours of responsibilities from the teachers, you can't say you get nothing for it. It's just not reasonable, and that is something that I think upsets the teachers very, very much. So what I ask you to do for the future is please try to work together, hear each other. I understand your job is to help be responsible with money, but that doesn't mean saving it at all costs, because as a taxpayer, I would pay more to have better teachers that care and feel respected in our district. My kids knew when they were going to college, there was a budget. I know as a teacher, I was not looking to make a fortune.
I've been told this has been over 3 minutes. If you want to just wrap up.
I'm going to wrap up. Thank you for that. I did not come to make a fortune as a teacher, but I truly did believe that I could make a difference, and that's something that got me to truly love my career. So I have great respect for the teachers here, and I have, respect for the administrators and the board. I just ask you, please, you have no idea what it could do when it just continues and irrational things are being asked. So let's make it a place where everybody feels respected again. Thank you.
Maybe this is a question for Dennis and Joe. We're wondering if you have some clarification on, right now, all the details of the negotiation, so we can negotiate in good faith, are supposed to be private, and we're not supposed to discuss it in public. So Mr. Homer had mentioned some items that we haven't touched on or discussed.
Right, she said she saw the contract, the last
Yes.
contract online.
All of my contracts are found online.
But with respect to what Mr. Homer was talking about, it seems like some details of what we're offering, discussions of what we offered, all that we're constrained to speak on. So could you?
Right, I think what you're saying is well said. The board is engaged in good faith negotiations. That process is ongoing, and I think this is, as we talked about, this is a meeting of the board in public, and so it's not a public meeting to the extent that that the audience to visitors does not require a response. And in this instance, because of the nature of the ongoing labor negotiation, I would suggest that the board not respond at this time. The board should listen, and is listening to the comments that have been given, but at this point, given the fact that there is an ongoing labor negotiation, you should not be responding further.
I guess my question was, how would community members be able to say unreasonable things have been asked if no one has seen the contract publicly? Doesn't that
The contracts are public.
not the contract that we're negotiating is read in?
We're
This
not
is not
talking about
you're out of order.
I'm talking about the contracts online.
It's not, we can't really get into a back and forth. Unfortunately, the way this is procedurally, if you have further questions, you could reach out to Joe. I just wanted to get one more clarification from Dennis. If an audience member is making a misstatement or saying something that's inaccurate, how do you correct? We can't correct it, obviously.
The board can always correct the record if it so chooses, if something is factually inaccurate. However, given the fact that there's going to be ongoing labor negotiations that are going to be continuing, and the speakers are expressing their opinions, it may not make sense at this point to continue further back and forth with the audience.
You did at that time. All right. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? All right. Moving on, we will now move to approval of the minutes on page 2. The November 18, 2025 minutes, Alex and Bill, you guys are absent. Could I have a first? Lisa, a second. Mark, any questions? All in favor? Now we're on the December 3rd, 2025 minutes. Alex, myself, and Bruce were absent. May I have a first? Lisa, a second. Mark, any questions? All in favor? That was four, right? Oh, no, we don't have enough proof. I'm trying to count it. All right, so I'm going to table that one. That wasn't, I did not have enough to make that motion. So I'm going to make a motion to table the December 3rd minutes as we do not have enough board members for quorum. Can I have a first? Who's the second? Any questions? All in favor? Okay. We now move to personnel recommendations of the superintendent. We will take all appointments on pages 2 to 5 as a slate. May I have first? Alex, second. Bruce, any questions? All in favor? We now move to business recommendations. We will take budget transfers and claims auditor reports on page 5 through 6 as a slate. May I have a first? Lisa, a second. Alex, any questions? All in favor? We will now take additional business matters on page 6 through 7 as a slate. May I have the first? I do 5 or 6. I'm doing 6 through 7. The first, Alex. The second, Lisa. Any questions? Okay, let me see. Yes, I did. I did want to acknowledge we had some appointments earlier on. Our director of facilities, which Joe mentioned, and I think that was the only one. So I want to make sure to welcome him again. Congratulations. We are going to move to special education reports. We will take CSE and CPSE approvals on page 8. We have first. Lisa, second. Any questions? All in favor? We now move to other matters on page 8. There's one item. May I have a first? Lisa, second. Bruce, any questions? All in favor? We have 2 policies on the agenda tonight. We are going to make a motion to table policy, which number is it, Lisa? 2342, because it is not completed and ready for approval. Could I have a first, Lisa? A second? Alex? Any questions? All in favor? Okay. So I'm going to make a motion to waive the reading of policy 1230. May I have a first? Lisa? A second? Alex? Yeah, the first reading. Yep. I've been looking that way. I've been looking. Any questions? All in favor? The agenda includes financial reports on pages 8 through 9, and these reports are for informational purposes. No vote is necessary. If needed, Mr. Dragone will answer any questions from the Board of Education and public. Feel free to call his office. We now continue with our second audience to visitors. Would anybody like to speak? All right. Moving on.
I just wanted to acknowledge that we on the agenda this evening is a memorandum of understanding with the Nurses Association. That we have set a contract with the nurses, and we are moving forward with negotiations with other bargaining units as well.
That's Great, thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
This is the second discussion section of our agenda. I open the floor to any other discussion items from members of the Board of Education.
Hi, so, as I mentioned before in the security minutes, one of the requests are to install phone recording system where either can any member of the faculty record on any phone? How would that, could you, rather than guess, maybe Mr. Allen can give us if any board member has any thoughts on it?
The system would work by either pressing a button or two buttons. We have to program it and it would start recording.
Any phone in the district?
Correct. We can restrict if we want to, or we can do it on every phone.
Oh, no, I have some quite concerns about the recording. So it's something I think that, it's not coming up tonight, correct?
No. We just started to discuss the process.
Okay.
We're not approving, we just started to discuss.
Okay, I do have some concerns.
Absolutely. There's a lot of questions we have to review. There's nothing on the agenda. Okay. We don't have all the data from the company yet. Just started the conversation.
All right, so I agree.
That's okay. We discussed it. It's fine. Okay, we discussed it.
Anything else? Okay. Since we have more to discuss, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn to executive session for the purposes of consulting with counsel and personnel. Could I have the first? Alex. The second? Bruce. Any questions? All in favor? The board has now returned from its second executive session. Could we have a motion to reopen the meeting? Can I have a first? Alex, a second. Lisa, all in favor? And now I'll take a second motion to adjourn the meeting. Can I have a first? Lisa, a second. Wait, I see someone. Mark. All in favor? All right.